Welcome back, guys, to Trails Through Daybreak, where last episode we headed into Farbad's Underground Waterway to figure out what had happened to the water supply in the cultural district, fighting through to find the frugal phantom tree Hydra Nubia sucking it all up with an Oct-Geneses on its body. On defeating our foe, a new threat appeared in angelic form that suppressed our squad, with Van about to bear the nightmare to fight back as something strange occurred, with the red Grendel formed laying prone as help arrived in the nick of time. Risette Twinings. With our enemy driven off, Oct-Geneses in hand, as we now recover. Duke Company. That's not the first I've heard that name recently. They do security, I think, and I believe they're based outside of Calvard.
Correct. Their main headquarters is located in the Orid state. While still a young company, it already enjoys a large customer base within and without Calvard. As I mentioned, Mr. Arkride is contracted with us as an external tester for our Tactical Research and Development Division.
Yep, that's how I wound up with the program for Mara and my trusty little stun caliber. We're equal partners in this endeavor.
Beyond that, in recent times, we've developed ties to various nations' public security apparatuses, as well as most every mercenary enterprise. We even maintain a technological partnership with the Warriors of Kruga, albeit only in a partial capacity.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Although, I have heard rumors about your company before, but that's an awful lot for one private military company to handle. Does that mean Marduk basically divides its business between its general security and its tactical research and development divisions? You guys must be swimming in cash these days. They're up and coming fast. Taking up more and more market share as you supply tech services to militaries and Jaegers alike sounds like a hell of a recipe for success.
Leave it to Mr. Arkride to employ such sharp assistance. It pleases me to see the next generation is coming along well.
I ain't looking for anyone to succeed me here. They're just part-time helpers around the office, that's all. But enough about us. You still haven't told us what the hell you're doing all the way out here. I understand how dedicated and responsible you are as a concierge, and I appreciate how much you guys value me as a tester. And to be clear, I'm grateful for all the maintenance work you do remotely for my Zypher too. You've been a big help. Yet coming out here like this, that gets into stupid levels of service. I know for a fact you've got other stuff to do. So why go to all this trouble, huh? What's going on behind the scenes to make you drop everything and wander on out here? I suppose I can fill you in on what's happening, but on one condition. You agree to tell me about the anomalies surrounding the shards and your holocore, as well as that stolen device. Do we have a deal? Well, at this point in time, it's not just around my shards and my holocore, is it? It's like Van doesn't know either. Well, Van hasn't told anyone yet. We're finally getting into the story after he started McBurning up. That's a lot to ask. This chick plays hard. You may rest assured I'm merely joking. You don't need to go into such detail. There are two reasons to why I have travelled to Farbad. One of them was indeed to make direct contact with Mr. Arkride. After all, I couldn't help but be concerned when our previous call was cut short in the manner that it was. Yeah, my bad. I didn't mean for it to be such a big deal. You sound like someone trying to explain to his girl why he was two-timing her when you talk like that, you know? I'm just... Can someone ask her if that's the work uniform? Yikes, Agnès looks super tense. My other reason for coming to the city is to investigate the film festival in person. Say what? Why would you need to do that? Quite simply, it is related to the Meseldan Film Festival that was set to take place 2 months ago. It has to do with the circumstances surrounding its cancellation. You mean that racial terrorism stuff? No kidding. I think I'm seeing where this is going. As you all know, Meseldan was forced to cancel the festival after receiving a terrorist threat and witnessing a wave of suspicious fires. The city, along with the local security company that was forced to pay a fine for the resulting breach of contract, requested our services. That incident appears to be linked to Farbad's festival, which has received greater attention than was otherwise anticipated. As a result, the decision was made to dispatch me to reassess the company's risk evaluation for Calvard. So that's what's going on, huh? Now I get it. I'm sorry, but I think I got lost somewhere around Mesoldam cancelled. Basically, if I understand it correctly, Risette is here to evaluate Calvard's security risks nationwide. That way, she and her company can be prepared to provide any necessary services if and when they're needed. The way she talks, it sounds like Calvard's hardly the only one her place keeps a close eye on. It's got its branches everywhere. Hell, it sounds a lot like how Hayway's elders tend to think. These guys have got their fingers in some pretty dicey pies. I completely understand your concern. It is certainly true that Marduk makes its money from wars and national-scale law enforcement. On the other hand, we also take pride in demonstrably contributing in part to regional security. We also help to combat criminal cabals and other such groups, including ones that have seen their threat level grow inconceivably large. You're talking about... I guess it only makes sense that your company would be involved in that too. So long story short, circumstances more or less forced you to come out here anyway. I wasn't the only factor. That's all I need to know, then. I won't pry any further. Is all that to say that you're basically on loan to us? If so, I'll give you free rein to act however you deem fit while we're here. Your skills are even better than I expected, now that I've seen him in person. You've got my trust, Risette. Don't worry. And it's very reassuring to hear. It will be a pleasure working together with you in person, Mr. Arkride. And so we get another employee in a weird way. Wait a second, does this mean... Are you saying we have to team up with this chick? You sure you don't want to give that some more thought? I don't think there's that kind of thought. She is obviously ridiculous. She's in the know, already clued up to everything, seems to be ridiculously battle proficient. When you have people in your group that are less battle proficient, for Van this is a no-brainer for certain people here, Agnès' safety. If you guys feel that strongly about it, I won't force you to work with her. But you all saw what happened back in the waterway. I don't think we should look a gift horse in the mouse. In the mouth. Definitely not in the mouse either. Well... I guess you got a point. We're dealing with that girl and the angel thing, and they both ran off once they got their hands on the Genesis. We might not have hard evidence yet, but if I had to point fingers at who's behind it, I know what my first guess would be. Yeah, I agree. It's entirely possible that Almata could be lurking out here too.
I cannot claim to be fully aware of your specific circumstances, but our analysis does suggest that's quite possible. Having said that, I also believe that it's too early to rule out other potential actors as well. To that end, I will do whatever I can to help, even if I'm still relatively inexperienced as a concierge. Also, regarding the anomaly between Mare and Mr. Arkride, it's rather curious to see an AI with no will manifest and react in that manner, as well as for its user to be covered so densely in shards. I may, however, be able to devise a treatment to address the symptoms of such unforeseen outbursts. I speak not only as a professional, I sincerely wish to help on a personal level as well.
Oh.
You're really something.
I understand that I may be imposing upon you, and that you all may have trouble accepting my presence. I truly do. Regardless, would it be all right for me to accompany you all for the next few days while you're in the city?
Risette, it's okay. You don't have to be so hesitant. We would be happy to have you with us. In fact, it would be really reassuring.
Yeah, those wall things you used earlier were really cool too.
Hell, if anything, I wouldn't be shocked if you turned out to be more reliable than our chief here.
Hey, watch your mouth. Not that I can disagree.
Thank you, Miss Claudel, Miss Alfayed, Mr. Wei. Then from now on, I, Risette Twinings, will accompany you, Arkride Solutions, during your 3-day mission in Tharbad.
After that, the group enjoyed a nice milky batch of chai. Wait, do you put milk in chai tea? In chai, which means tea. Do you put milk in that? Courtesy of the inn's proprietress says thanks for all of their hard work. As they did so, they summarized to Risette and sequence of events of... Okay, sorry. I realize now that I'm mixing up. Chai is just tea, but I think chai is usually a spicy thing here when we buy... Never mind. As they did so, they summarized to Risette the sequence of events up until their current mission for Nina Fenley and Judith Lanster. They delved into the Genesis and the Grendel, as well as the crimes committed by Armata, revelations that stunned the concierge. For her part, she swore to keep what she learned strictly confidential and not divulge anything to her employer without permission. Such sincere consideration for their circumstances further cemented the newfound trust Arkride Solutions had in Risette. Soon enough, with the sun setting, Van fully recovered and regained his stamina. The party decided to venture back outside, both to find a place to eat at for dinner, as well as to report back to the actresses on their progress. Now this is more my kind of scene. The city only really comes alive at night if you ask me. You know what that means? Time to hit the streets and see what sort of joints with foxy ladies they've got around here. Aaron, do grow up. That's the problem, he is. I don't know what these fox ladies you're talking about. All I know is I'm starving. Don't mind him, he's just driving with his pants, you might say. Well, we've still got some time to kill before our meeting. Let's take another look around town while scoping out somewhere to sit down and eat. I know it's not the most efficient way of going about things, but it's how I do it as a Spriggan. Hope it's just meandering around a bit doesn't drive you too up the wall. Oh no, not at all. I'm actually quite interested to learn. I've wanted to know more about your work for some time. To summarize, the plan is to check for new 4 SPG requests, responding to them as necessary while continuing to survey the city on foot, yes? Then when the time is right, we'll make our way to the Algemira to report into Miss Fenley and Miss Lanster. Is my understanding correct? Wow, you didn't take long to adapt to how we do things. Seriously, it's like she's been with us this whole time. Quick, Agnès, you've got to contribute something. Something! Another woman's on the scene! No, no, no! Not my van! Oh yes, we still need to deliver those autographs to Shahina. Hey, you're right, I forgot all about that. Ah, me too. Do you think she's home by now? Nah, not yet. Don't you remember? She said she wanted to stop by the hammam on their way back from work. Good point. I'm sure it's reopened by now. Might as well stop by and see how they're doing. Sounds like a plan. Well, what are we waiting for? No time to lose. Let's get to work, everyone. Indeed. Lead the way, everyone. I'll follow along.
Mira deposit confirmed.
Oh, money. Risette joined the party. Right then. We are going to work, and Aaron got instantly kicked out the party. I didn't do it.
Very well.
I didn't do it. So yes, we do have our mix of what is essentially Claire, if kind of loosely because of the... I say loosely because it just... Her moving around on the shards reminds me of the S-Craft with the mirrors. But it's very much more Sharon and Sarah, isn't it? Just melded into one character. We've also Techno Brains. We've just like... Other characters we've got are basically like... Fee analogy, if you know what I mean. But you're just like multiple characters. You could literally be multiple characters in a Trails game. But somehow we've got you all rolled into one. But please don't mind me staring at you so weirdly intently. Anyway. Let's have a look, see what her orbit's like at this point in time.
Don't worry. Citri's got your back.
I thought... I mean... Lovely. English? Yes. Her last name is, when I saw it, I obviously didn't think it was twinning. I thought it was twining, like the tea we have here, or chai. So when she said it was twining, I was like, oh yes, we've got our English one now. Yes, it is a twining. Yes. And then blooming...
Don't worry, Citri's got your back.
Don't worry. I'll go clean your chimney for you. Yes. Right, what are we doing? Obviously, we do need to open up quite a few slots. But our British thing is... I'm being weirded out. A holocore powered by a friendly big sister AI lengthens the S-boost effect by 1 turn when boosted. Physical damage and magical damage up with defense and ADF up 20% too. What are your crafts? That's what we're really wondering about. Don't worry. We're level 33. You're way ahead of us. She possesses beyond human physical and combat abilities. Wait, how does this sentence work? Graceful on the outside, she possesses beyond human physical and combat abilities. I don't understand that sentence, really. What's the inside, then? Is that what you're saying is on the inside is beyond human... Can I check out the... I've only just realised, thanks to this picture, about her suspenders there. Or not, whatever they are. The stockings there. Let's look away from the that region, I think, personally. Right, let's check crafts. Radiant Seeker. Garters. Oh, okay. Traps foes, then unleashes a deadly omnidirectional attack. Has Death Blow on her finisher as well. Don't know anyone else who had that. Silent Slasher. Death Blow as well. Back attack bonus. Carves through foes cleanly and quietly. Oh, she does snipe people. Elegantly fires a sniper shot with deadly precision. I didn't know that about her when she started off, but now that's even more points for the Claire. Side attack bonus with the sniping. And Cobalt Curtain. Deploys a defensive field that boosts strength. Shield res, A-res up. Seems pretty good. The shield too. Big bonuses. Anyway, let's get checking around. Stop analyzing this character.
That's all.
Yes. So much going on with Risette. So much going on.
Looking is always free, you know.
Wait, I have nothing to talk
Come
to you
back
about?
for more anytime.
So there's some people who are talking about new stuff, but you're not. On behalf of the Hammam owner, I just wanted to thank you all again for helping out with that. You do. It's amazing just how much we can all accomplish when we come together to solve a problem like that. Also, I'm glad we had an extra bed to spare for that lovely new lady you've added to your ranks. I hate having to put her in that shared room, but all of our other rooms are full. You got really lucky with your reservation there. What room are you putting her in? Thanks for fixing the problem over at the Hammam down the street. You guys have been a big help around here. If only Mum would take a page out of your book instead of doing something worthwhile with her time. She's just been playing Cupid all year. She wants me to hurry up and settle down for the future of the inn, but I'm just not ready to take over. And I'm not being humble. My mother is really intent on me settling down and starting a family. One time I just happened to say how pretty one of the dancing sisters was, and then she went out and tried to find a girl like her. If you're wondering why she didn't introduce us, it's because she couldn't possibly picture us being a good fit, which... There's another trader I know who lost his camel. Sounded like a real nightmare. I've got to be careful so the same thing doesn't happen to me. Cross that bridge if I come to it. For now, I'm taking a break. You only live once. I bought one of those orbital hookers that are so big right now. Might as well give it a whirl, right? So this is what it tastes like. It's got its quirks, but it's not bad for what it is. Stings my nose a little, but it sure wakes you up. In fact, I can smoke this while riding my camel, and the car is a real lifesaver to traveling salesman, I'll tell you what. You need to wean yourself off of this. Oh, that wasn't giving us points for doing that? Oh, wasn't a 4 SPG. Right, let's go checking around the place. So, what have we got going on? One marker over here, a blue marker down there, 2 red markers. Which is just going to be both of them. I want to jump off of here. And I guess we can look in the entertainment district, see what's going on there too.
So fascinating.
No, it's the cultural district first, or bust.
Need some spices,
The atmosphere
perhaps?
feels pretty different here compared to daytime.
Reminds me a lot of the night market in Longport.
The film festival's great for business. With all these tourists coming to town, my sales have nearly doubled. I'm a little concerned I'm going to run low on some of my stock, but that's not the worst problem to have when I can put so much money away. Plus, my daughter is so curious about Western culture. I want to take her traveling one of these days, so it'll help me save for that too.
Hello.
Don't have anything new to sell me though, do you?
Thanks for shopping.
Indeed.
No new night stock.
You won't find this just any...
Looking for something for dinner? How about some camel meat? They say it pairs well with a nice libation. Here in the Central East, families often come together to eat camel on holidays and the like. You might find yourself craving some alcohol at those gatherings, but our customs strictly forbid drinking at those times.
Hey there. What'll it be? See ya.
Oh, come and see if...
I heard that some ne'er-do-wells gave those poor dancers quite a bit of trouble. It's such a shame. In my day, travelers who came here were considerate towards us, but these days... I worry that our way of life here is in danger. It troubles me greatly. Nothing quite like our cultural district here in Farbad.
Why, hello.
Just checking to see if there's anything else. Thank you. My traditional flame-powered hookers still sell pretty well these days. But it's these new overpowered hookers that draw in all the repeat customers now. It's a shame. The old-fashioned ones still have a lot to offer, as long as you enjoy them in moderation. Times what they are. Still not exactly sure how to pronounce that. Is it hookah? Am I supposed to what am I supposed to pronounce the most? It's not hookah. Hooker is obviously not it. Hookah. We might have gotten the trouble sorted out at the bazaar, but something about it all still doesn't sit right with me. I've heard Farbad's seeing more and more tourists who are getting out of hand, like what those dancers had to deal with. I think tomorrow I'll focus my efforts on the entertainment district. More people from out of town end up there. Right, what do I go to first? Let's finish the sweep. Hookah, I think? Yeah, it's like, how do you pronounce it? I heard Sarah and Shahina were ambushed by some awful guys this afternoon. That must have been so scary. I guess drawing a crowd is no fun in games when you get to be as popular as they are. No matter what, I think I need to go in there before I hit the red markers. So I'll talk to everyone else first. Why can I check this? Oh yeah, it's their house. This is where Sarah and Shahina live, isn't it? Yep, although they don't look to be home right now. Whoever thought our son would be so interested in other cultures? He told me he wants to have a lamp and a rug. We should probably just get him the lamp, don't you think? A rug's going to be a bit expensive. I don't know. Just because he wants a rug doesn't mean we all couldn't use it as a family. Why don't we buy a replica or something? Also, not to change the subject, but honey, what's that thing you're smoking? Oh, this is a hookah. It's a traditional way of smoking tobacco in the Central East. This portable type you can carry around with you only came out recently. It's pretty handy. I know I've been trying to cut back on smoking, but I thought I should at least try this stuff since we're here. It can't hurt. Well, yeah. I never expected my son to be so taken with Central Eastern culture. It's great. I'm taking it as a sign that we should travel more often. Speaking of Central Eastern culture, I knew about hookahs before coming here. But I had no idea these orbital hookahs were a thing nowadays. It feels like they popped up out of nowhere. I appreciate my husband taking us all out on this trip, especially since it's given our son so many new experiences. I don't know if him smoking that hookah when he's not used to it is such a good idea though, no matter how ambient he says it is. Are those hookahs really that good? I see an awful lot of people smoking them all over town. You have to wonder. A lot of people in the church right now. Tourists these days have no respect for what they're visiting. Farbad isn't just some theme park that exists for their enjoyment. It's a place where people live, and they want to live here in peace. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy to see that kid take an interest in our culture. I just wish more people were like him.
Goddess Arusha.
Our cultural district isn't some sort of museum exhibit. It's home to many people, a place whose ways of living are precious to them. Figuring out how to preserve and uphold those traditions while embracing modernization is always a constant balancing act we must deal with. This temple does its best to respond to people's concerns, and we therefore serve as something of a representative of the community. Central Eastern temples are institutions of tolerance at heart. We always strive to promote mutual understanding among one another. Farbad used to be a trading hub first and foremost, but in the past 2 decades it's rapidly developed into a city for recreation. As a result, there are naturally a number of citizens who feel concerned that Farbad is losing sight of its original culture. I do my best to take their thoughts and feelings into consideration in talking to people, so that together we can make Farbad even better. They were downstairs? Side entrance? Yes. It makes me so happy to see little Clem take an interest in our folklore. It's been a pleasure to teach him about it. Some of our congregants have expressed concern that people are beginning to forget the moral teachings behind such stories. But all you need to see is a child listening and enjoying those stories innocently to know that hope is by no means lost. See, I told you Mother Jamila knew lots of stories. She always puts her all into telling them too. That's what makes going to Sunday school so much fun. Yeah, I bet. She's really, really good. I'm so happy I got to hear new stories from her. This temple is so amazing. Even though we both pray to the same goddess, it looks and feels completely different from the chapel I go to. Wow, it's really that different. That's crazy. I love to hear what Western ones are like. Could you tell me a little bit about them? Mostly the same? I want to teach Imani all about the fairy tales of where I'm from. I know, maybe I should give her my picture book that I brought with me. That's okay, isn't it? It'll be like a souvenir, but of me, since it's from my home. She won't even have to travel for it.
Well,
Klima's really interested in fairy tales. I wonder what sort of books he likes to read at home. After talking to him, now I want to learn about stories from further west. Of the other god, or the same god that shares a name. I saw Sarah talking to some hairy old guy. He was weird. He was dressed up like he was on vacation. What are we talking about? My brother says his name is Mr. Gotti. I guess he's somebody important who works for the film festival. Sarah looked so surprised when she was talking to him. Wait a minute, is she going to be dancing in the parade? She is, isn't she? It's a thing to notice that I literally dress to stream the same way as Salvatore Gotti dresses. God damn. I had a lot of tours today, which is always great, but every one of my customers was acting like a nut. It was scary. We've been getting a lot of people lately who are like those men who harass Sarah and Shahina. People with no inhibitions at all. I had people during my Sansi tours that try to wander off of me and go who knows where despite it being, you know, a desert. Now that Sarah's been recruited to perform in the festival, I just hope nothing weird happens that ruins the parade. That'd be terrible. If I'm being honest with you guys, it feels like this city's got more and more dangerous lately in all sorts of ways. They might not show it, but I have to imagine that deep down, Sarah and Shahida are worried. They work in the streets after all. Those two have so much on their plate. I really hope they can continue their dancing in peace, but who knows what's going to happen. Do I like FNV? No comment. Sakura A-Star, thank you for coming by for the 56 months of sub. Cheers very much. I like a broad genre of movies. Now that I've introduced Sinem to everyone at the bazaar, we're going to go off and have dinner somewhere. She's not so good with words, but thankfully everyone seems to understand that she's sorry for all the trouble she's caused. Not everyone's forgiven her, but I was at least able to get them to tolerate her being in the bazaar, which is an important first step. What happens from there might come down to how hard she decides to work. I think I'm going to treat Sinem to a good meal before we head on over to the temple. It's about time she had something nice. Between running away from you guys and then introducing myself to everyone at the bazaar, today has been a lot. Like a lot. Oh, I'm so tired. I feel like I could pass out any second.
The fun's only just begun.
The fun's only just begun, supposedly. Get ready for that. I guess we'll speak to the few that are up there before heading to what looks to be the Blazer Guild. Even with the film festival right around the corner, the nights around here have gotten strangely loud and hectic. Unlike the entertainment district, it used to be that when the sun went down, things really mellowed out in the cultural district. But lately, it's becoming more and more like the entertainment district. It's all a little concerning. I can sympathize with Abdullah's worries. Farbad is changing so fast, it feels as though we hardly have time to even remember tradition. Even so, we mustn't forget that we have Professor Hamilton and her incredible work to thank for our current fortune. It would be disrespectful to everything she's done for our fair city to completely reject the Farbad we have today. It might be worthwhile for us to take a step back like she did and reconsider our position. The scent of those newfangled mechanical hookers. They've ruined the flavor of our own hookers over here. What could these people possibly want, thinking they can come in with their weird devices, mechanizing our culture? I'm gonna need to have another talk with Father Mukhtar about the state of the world, because I don't like where it's headed, that's for sure. He doesn't like where it's headed. I need a place where I can change my orbit, but that is not gonna happen right now, because more slots need to be opened up for our newest compatriot. To be honest, I'm thinking of like if anyone changes slot at the moment, it's Fairy, maybe. But if you're melee as well, but you're gun and melee, so you kind of work out in anywhere. And you've got a buff, which kind of replaces Fairy's buff, just defensive instead of physical. It's like,